the time. I know you're probably busy promoting the new album and all that, so I really appreciate that you get a chance to talk. Must be pretty exciting to be pretty excited for the new album coming out next week.
Absolutely, we're burning for it to release this flagship.
Yeah, how long have you guys been working on it? When did you start writing and coming up with ideas for it?
It was right after the last tour. It ended up in February 2020, okay. And a few days later, the whole world, and so we just we started with listening through all the leftovers from our last sessions, and of course we composed new stuff as well, and. Yeah, we immediately worked on that, picked out the best of the best, and edited and composed something to it to increase them, and well, then in a quite short time, all the instrumental stuff was done so far.
Yeah. With the writing and the recording, was it difficult to kind of get around the whole COVID stuff, you know, with the restrictions and all that kind of stuff? Was it difficult, or did you sort of find easy ways to get around it?
It worked out perfectly because we're working like this. It was no change for us. Everybody of us has his own home studio or real studio.
Yeah.
And everyone recorded at home. I did my guitar stuff all at home, and we just did then the drums, the bass, and the vocal recordings we did in the Sirius Black Studios near Munich. So it was no different to other recordings before. It's, okay. Daily business for us.
yeah, no, it's good to hear, because obviously you hear stories about people sort of struggling to finish the recording and stuff because of, you know, restrictions, and you can't be all in the same room together and things like that. So it's good to hear that you guys have been sort of working in a way that you had always been working like that, you know, sort of separately in some respect, I guess. What are your thoughts on the new album then, as far as like comparing it to the previous albums that you've released before?
Oh, there's a quite big difference to all the other stuff, except for our debut as Daylight Breaks, because then in those times it was the idea of a real band where everyone brings in his own ideas, and we're working together and create some stuff together. It was the main idea to creating this band, and this only happened so far, really happened on As Daylight Breaks. Then it was more or less difficult. More people came in and wanted to do their own stuff, and so it came up the last albums more prog rock, and to do music in power metal direction, power metal direction.
Yeah,
it drifted up in certain waters, and on this album we wanted to go back to the main idea, first to do metal again, power metal, if you want to say like this, and to work together. And this is a real for me personally, the first one where I was completely involved, because in the last days I had my my normal daily job business to do, 40 hours a week at least. Oh, wow. And so I didn't have my own home recording studio then, and on this album we really worked together. We shared all the ideas and picked up and picked out only the best of ideas. We had collected in the last years in sessions, and what we recorded new, and just picked out the best of the best to create a great album, and only metal, power metal. So that's the main difference to the previous records, and also from the lyrics. This now is not no more, at least no more just a fantasy story or magical stuff in it. There may be some words of fantasy stuff in it in the new album, but it isn't. Those lyrics are not created of ideas of Lovecraft or whatever, Harry Potter stuff or whatever.
Yeah.
So this is true stories and really written out of our hearts. We let the audience look deep inside ourselves, and that's lyrical wise the main difference to all the other albums we ever did.
Yeah, I mean, I had a chance to listen to the album earlier today, and I definitely did get that sort of power metal feel about it, you know, compared to some of the previous stuff you'd done before. But when I was reading some of the information about the album, it's funny you mentioned about sort of writing lyrics more on like true stories, because there's definitely, I guess, a more personal touch on this album. What was the inspiration behind doing that?
Yeah, it came up with when we did the instrumental stuff. We hadn't any idea what the album would be about. We just wanted to work on the instrumental stuff first, and then let vocal lines to it. In this period, Urban was still in the band. I thought it was quite difficult to work with him. Not at last for the last recording. I have to tell a little story about it.
Okay.
How we came up to Nikola then.
Yeah.
I don't know if you have a question about Nikola for
later.
Yeah,
I wanted to ask you, because obviously this is the first album with Nikola, obviously, because something different for the band as well. So yeah, tell me the story about how that all happened then.
It was the last recordings. It was very difficult to work with Urban then. Because he didn't deliver his vocal lines in time. So and he wasn't reachable for us or the record company as well. So he was just disappeared and didn't give a shit about what we were doing and thinking or whatever.
Yeah.
So we got the last vocal lines from him from the US 3 months after deadline. Oh. So all the promotion stuff, what was the idea of AFM Records to do with our record. Yeah, you need time for it. Sure. It wasn't possible anymore. Also, Mario had to finish the whole record within a few days, that we can at least keep the release date, because it was the release date was the very first day we've planned to go on tour with Hammerfall. So it makes no sense for us to go on tour with Hammerfall with a big band, you know, with a record in start, you know. The vinyls were released 3 weeks later after the release of the CD and stuff like that. Yeah, we lost plenty of stuff because of that delay. And on tour, the whole fuck it all attitude of him increased. So he didn't show up for sound checks. Oh, one need no sound check. Yeah, you know, and he didn't show up at the merchandise area after the shows, which is so important for us to get in touch with the fans and have a little talk and stuff like that. And there was also lies and intrigues, all the stuff, you name it. Yeah, all the stuff was in it. If it was on me, I would have kicked him out right after the tour or even before. Yeah. But it didn't happen because festivals, and for this we needed a singer, of course. Eh? Sure. We didn't, on this time, we didn't know that the whole world is standing still a few days later. So we kept it like it was. And a few months later, during the lockdown, we got an email. No, it wasn't an email. It was a chat. It was in an old, no more used chat room where only Ramy was in, a former crew member from the Mirabel tour, I think.
Wow.
And me. We four with Urban, we've been in this chat room, and he contacted us and apologized for his behavior over the last years. So, but we didn't react to that because if he wanted to have a honestly meant talk happened, he knew exactly how he would reach us via email. He knows by heart all the email addresses of us. So we didn't react and just waited for an honestly meant contact of him for a talk, for whatever.
Yeah.
This didn't happen, but we got questions from magazines and other business partners. They asked us, what's up with Sirius Black? Urban posted on Facebook that he is out of Sirius Black. That was surprising for us indeed. So
yeah,
we didn't, whatever happened before, but this was surprising. And in a public debate, he tried to turn things around to his own favor, to stand in a better light then. Yeah. Latest at this time, it was clear that it wasn't possible to work with him ever again. So that was one thing. What's about on Vengeance Is Mine, and also the reason why we then had to search for a new singer. And the second thing, what's about in Vengeance Is Mine, is that Mario had a relationship the last years, and he did quite everything for her, and made her a good life, and helped her out of the shit and stuff like that. Yeah, and it seemed all very perfect and in harmony. For outsiders, sometimes a bit creepy. From one day to the other, she dropped him like a hot potato, and didn't give a shit about what he has done for her and stuff like that. He just, dropped him. Wow. And that was then the reason that Mario immediately started writing the first lyrics, which are based on his story and what it's all about. And then we came up with, the idea, it's not a concept album, but it's the whole album, it's about vengeance to certain people in our daily business lives. Yeah. And this all we throw together in the pot and stirred well, and out came Vengeance Is Mine then.
Well, there you go.
I hope to have answered your question.
That's more than enough. It's obviously a very interesting story, and a very obviously a source of material to write a new album, especially making it personal on that front. And it obviously explains the title of the album, Vengeance Is Mine. And it's a question that I was going to ask you anyway, and it's a good time to ask you now about a particular song called Senso della Vita, which means the meaning of life. Kind of sums up, I guess, not only because of what happened in the band, like you've just shared just now, but also with everything that's going around the world as well. The meaning of life, I mean, to you, what does that sort of mean? Has that changed because of what you've gone through and because of what's happening around the world?
Yeah, interesting question indeed. I haven't thought about it so much now. It wasn't a song, a lyric it wasn't written by me. It was written mostly of Mario and Ramy, and but what it means to me is, of course, to look on the happenings in the world in complete. It makes sense. Your question to ask about this as well, and what is really the meaning of life. I question a lot of things, and everyone has to find out for himself what's really important things in life. Is it to have the next expensive sport car or whatever, or is it just give love to anybody.
It's certainly an interesting one for sure, especially with everything that's going on at the moment. And obviously, obviously you guys love what you're doing. Music is obviously a huge passion for you guys. You clearly tell listening to the music. So this is obviously something that you want to do. And obviously 2022, obviously it's going to be an interesting year to see how it's going to all play out. Do you have much of an idea as to what you're going to be planning as far as like touring and all that kind of thing, or?
Yes, we had already to reschedule and postpone our European tour, which was planned already for 2020. It's still called King for a Day tour.
Yeah.
But it makes also sense because the lion is also a king, and it's about the concept is still running so far. And so we keep the name, just put in the lion, the actual, not the actual, but our cover of the CD, of course.
Sure.
Instead of the king sitting in his chair, which we did before. So we had to postpone him again, and now we are looking forward to do our 2020 headliner tour in winter, so November, December this year. And other stuff are planned for this year. It's in the beginning of March. We're going for 3 concerts, fingers crossed,
of course, yeah.
to Spain for 3 concerts, 1 festival and 2 other headliner shows. And in summer, we have planned to go to 2 festivals, 1 in Switzerland, 1 in Austria, where I come from.
Okay, cool.
And well, that's the planning so far. But the most important is the release date, 25th of February.
Yeah, that's it.
That's what we're on the 1st. But also rehearsing for the concerts in Spain, of course.
Getting a chance to play these songs live. I mean, that's a question that I kind of tend to ask a lot of people when I interview people is when you are sitting down recording and even coming up with an idea for a song, do you ever think about the live aspect, how that song might translate to the live stage in front of a crowd?
I think I'm quite sure about those songs that Bob Cazzionis wrote. Those have the best live feeling anyway. So that's why we chose quite a few of the songs he wrote. I don't think in the first time when I compose for live feeling, it comes out later or not. I don't give a shit about that. I just want to play good, want to deliver good music.
Yeah.
What's in my intention, idea of good music is.
I was going to say that your music definitely feels like it's quite lively to me anyway, like it doesn't, it feels like, and that's kind of why I posed the question, because it does feel like you kind of had a live sort of thing in mind when you sort of wrote those songs. And I always wondered, if people ever think about that intentionally or not, and it's interesting to hear different answers to that question.
Yeah, of course, I composed in a different way, probably, but those songs I wrote, we chose because of this. But if it turns out to be, it's great. On the last song, I don't know if you have heard it, listen to it, Alea Jacta Est. It has, there I wanted to have this live feeling ending. So chaos ending on drums and some blues lick solo.
Yes.
And just to end this album with a live feeling ending. This was the intention of me. I wanted to have this. So for this, I composed it for be a live song. Yeah. If it turns out to be one, if we will perform it one day, I don't know. We have just now we have to concentrate on our single releases, of course, and 1-2 other songs which are made for stages, for big stages, because there are already those crowd things in it. in the composing.
Yeah.
So clapping hands or shouting or whatever, hey, hey, hey,
Yeah.
it's already in the composition.
Yeah.
So,
well, look, like as I said, I had a chance to listen to it earlier, and it's fantastic stuff. Especially if you love that kind of, like I mentioned, power metal and things like that. The old school sort of heavy metal, I guess, which many of us are still a big fan of. It's great to see you guys are championing and flying the flag for that kind of music. So, do you have any sort of opportunities, or have you ever thought about coming down to Australia at all for a tour?
I have to. I've been one time to Australia.
Okay.
It's back in the time in 1999.
Okay, yeah, a little while ago.
I've been to Sydney for 3 weeks, and it was awesome because it was Australia Day on 26th, and it was 10 years of harbor. It was a great big festival with fireworks on it on 2 days and stuff like that.
Yeah,
and much going on. And I really enjoyed it.
I would love to have you down here. And look, congratulations on the new album. And hopefully when it's released, it does well and everyone gets to hear it. And fingers crossed that your tour and all your shows that you've got coming up will happen. Obviously, we just never really know what's going to happen, but hopefully it all works out for you, man.
Thank you so much. Thank you all for your interest. And yeah, we'll appreciate to come down to bring our music to you. And it's great to have a talk with you, Andrew. Thank you so much. And well, we'll see.
There you go. Yeah, well, thanks for your time, man. Really appreciate it.